You guys should never, ever, ever secretly record people, because sometimes when you secretly record people, sometimes they may accidentally admit that your institution, or the institution they work at rather, is doing something illegal. Sometimes when you record people and they don't know that you're recording them, sometimes they give information away that maybe they really shouldn't. But they don't know they're being recorded, and they think they're among friends, and so they tell us the truth. Now I talked about this yesterday on the stream, but just in case people didn't make it, I did publish it today on the Substack. You can find that over at Carlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. And I want to talk a little bit more about it because some people may not have been here yesterday. And for my money, this is actually one of the more important things that I've recorded lately. This is one of those things that is incredibly infuriating when you think about the scale of this thing, okay? So, as you guys know, over the weekend, we infiltrated and secretly recorded the Zine Librarians Unconference. Now, that might seem like an innocuous thing. They're zines, which are hand-produced little pamphlet thingies that the left uses for propaganda. And they're librarians. Do you guys really think librarians could be that subversive? Well, most of the librarians at this particular conference happen to work at taxpayer-funded universities or otherwise publicly funded institutions. And when librarians apparently get together to talk about being librarians and all of the snarky stuff that they talk a lot about politics. And wouldn't you know it, that a lot of them, most of them, in fact, are on the left. And so we found out some incredibly interesting information from many of these librarians just by sitting back and listening and secretly recording them when they didn't know anyone was there. And yeah, we did see a lot of cats. Leonard is right. We saw there were a lot of cats. They showed off their cats on screen and stuff like that. It was really great. Anyway, one of the more important stories for me that's come out of this conference is, I think the SUNY college system in New York is training its staff to actually subvert ICE activities and police and law enforcement activities on campus. I think that's what this says. Now, I'm going to take a couple super chats. We're going to continue to talk about this. 2 ladies starting out with a donation to keep your work funded. Thank you. Thank you, 2 ladies. As you guys know, I'm 100% independently funded by you. My journalism only happens if you guys choose to fund it. So if you appreciate what I'm doing, head over to the Substack. That is Carlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. Sign up for a membership, $8 a month, $80 a year, or you can send me in a super chat, or there are other ways you can donate to down in the descriptions. I do appreciate that, 2 ladies. Nurit2, thank you for being a member of the channel for 25 months. Kash Patel should resign as FBI director immediately. His girlfriend is suing Elijah Schaffer for implying she's a Mossad agent in a tweet. Yeah, that whole situation is pretty messed up, and my heart goes out to Elijah on that one, and that's a ton of nonsense that he has to deal with, and that sucks. That sucks real bad. I want to come back to this, though. Okay, so when we infiltrated this conference, there was a librarian there from Buffalo State. Now, we talked about her yesterday. She's a massive leftist. She teaches a class in which she has students create leftist propaganda in the class. And she's also doing anti-ICE stuff on campus that subverts the policies of her institution. Well, there was another clip. There was another clip that came out from the same woman whose name is Julie Sattel. Okay. And in this clip, Julie seems to be saying that the SUNY Buffalo State University did some sort of drill where they sent some sort of undercover detective into the library to pretend to be investigating leftist organizing activities on campus. And the undercover guy, he interrogated students, he interrogated staff, he asked for lists of names of students who are doing leftist organizing on campus, and eventually this kind of really, they made the library staff nervous because they're all leftists, right? So of course they're going to be nervous if someone comes into the library and they're asking about leftist organizing activities. So the library staff called over to the university police, which is, just so people know, if you don't come from the world of higher education, university police are not the same as like the police. They're university police. They're only the police for the university. It's not the same as like your local police or your sheriff or your state police or something like that. It's like university security. That's really what we're talking about. Hey, thanks, I don't know, for gifting 5 memberships over on Rumble. Congrats to everyone who got a membership over on Rumble. Appreciate that, bro. So the library staff, when this undercover cop came in, they got nervous and they called the university police and they said, there's someone here interrogating us about leftist organizing on campus. And the university police said, oh, don't worry about it. That's just a drill. And then what the university police said is, we were testing you to see if you would call us and tell us he came in to interrogate you. Now, listen, I have 3 phone calls in to the vice president of communications at SUNY Buffalo State. I have called this guy 3 times. And I have said, here are some stories that we're releasing on your institution. Do you have any comment or explanation for this? And I have called him twice. I called him yesterday about this story, and I called him today for this story. And I said, I warned him. I warned him yesterday before I even talked about this story publicly. I called him and said, listen, bro, I know this is not what you want to hear right now, but I have a story of one of your librarians talking about how your campus police is doing training that seems to subvert ICE. And do you want to look into this and maybe get back to me with an explanation? So I actually gave the vice president of communication at SUNY Buffalo a head start. I said, because he's probably not involved in any of this. To be honest, I actually kind of feel bad for him. He's not involved in any of this, but I gave him a head start to go track down the information so that he could come back to me with some sort of explanation that is not SUNY Buffalo is training its staff to actively subvert ICE investigations and law enforcement. I'll get back to that story in a second. Reality is just gifted 20 channel memberships. Holy shit. I'm not going to name everyone who got a channel membership, but 20 new members of the channel right off the bat. Congrats to everyone who got a channel membership. Welcome to the family. We appreciate you being here. Thank you, Reality Is. Awesome. That's really cool. Guys, when you're a member of my channel, you get to come to my spy streams. Just pay attention to the community or post tab, whatever they're calling it now. And all channel members get to come to my spy streams where I record stuff, just like I did for this SUNY Buffalo story. So SUNY Buffalo knew yesterday that I had this clip, and I gave them time to run it down and to figure out what happened. Now, in theory, all the VP of communications would have had to do is call the university police and say, what the fuck were you guys doing? Listen, I worked in higher education a long time. I know how this works. One phone call, he could have gotten the explanation for what was going on. Thank you, OC, for that super sticker. I appreciate it. But apparently he didn't do that. So I called him back today. I released the story because I never heard an explanation. I called SUNY Buffalo back today and I said, hey, listen, bro, I just put this story out. And guess what? There's already people interested in talking to me about this. And that's true, actually. I think that Harrison Smith is going to have me on his show again on either Thursday or Friday to talk about this specifically. So SUNY Buffalo is about to get hit with that InfoWars audience. And I don't know that they're going to like that too much, which is going to be great for them. But hey, listen, I gave them a chance to respond to me and they didn't. I don't know over on Rumble says, I don't know is me. Oh, Cynthia. Guess what? I don't know is Cynthia. That was Cynthia. Cynthia, our queen. Cynthia, our queen. That's funny, Cynthia. Thank you for that. We appreciate it as always. So I gave him an opportunity to get back to me and give me some sort of explanation. And I do mean this. If SUNY Buffalo has any explanation for what the hell was going on when the campus police sent in an undercover agent into the library to try to run a drill to see if the library staff would alert the campus police if ICE or law enforcement were on campus, I would really like to hear what that explanation is. And if SUNY Buffalo ever gets back to me with a statement, I will release that statement and I will make sure people know about it and I will read it word for word. I'm not like, I actually want an explanation. What was going on? So do you guys want to see the clip? Do you guys want to see the clip of the University of Buffalo staff member talking about this? Because maybe you guys can help me out here. The SUNY Buffalo doesn't want to get back to me. By the way, I also called the head office for the SUNY system because for people who don't know, SUNY is the State University of New York. SUNY is not just one university. SUNY is the entire spectrum of state-funded, taxpayer-funded like universities in the state of New York. It is a huge university system. So not only do you have like the individual schools in it, like SUNY Buffalo, they all report up to like a state chancellor and like a home office, basically. So I called the SUNY system earlier today and I said, listen, are you guys doing this type of training? Is this like a system-wide thing? Are you guys training people to subvert ICE and police on college kids? And again, SUNY hasn't gotten back to me. So if anyone from the SUNY system, be it SUNY Buffalo State or the university like chancellor's office, if you guys want to get back to me and let me know what the fuck you were doing, I will publish anything that you send me word for word verbatim. And you've had multiple opportunities to talk about what's going on and you're not doing it. And so I just have to assume, until you guys give me another explanation, I have to assume that I have the correct explanation, which is the SUNY system, or at least SUNY Buffalo State University, is literally training its staff to subvert the police and subvert ICE. Let's listen to this clip for people who didn't hear it yesterday.
One thing that I'll share has less to do with scenes in hostile climates and more to do with just, being in the hostile climate that is the United States of America right now. So I put in the, I put in the notes app and in the chat earlier, this Library Freedom Project link on resource on ICE response protocols for higher education workers. This week in our library, I'm in an academic library in Western New York.
Buffalo State.
We had an undercover state police officer come in and do an ICE drill, which involved interrogating the librarian and the student worker on duty about violence on our campus, violent protesting or violent students and student protesters, and asking for names. And they didn't give names, of course. And immediately after it happened, the librarian let the director know, who immediately called the UPD, University Police Department, who told us that it was a drill. And they said that they couldn't have told us in advance because what they were testing was to see who reported it. And we have now told all of the library directors in our state system. I encouraged my director to do that. And I had put on the agenda for our faculty meeting just by chance earlier this week, what to do with ICE coming to the library, like if they do. And apparently state police is going around the whole state doing this to campuses. FYI, New York folks. But
holy crap, thank you.
Yeah. And so it was super traumatizing. And the librarian and the student worker had different emotional responses, but they had, their own emotional responses. And University Police was basically like, well, if you had called us right away, we would have told you it was a drill. So it was kind of like, they didn't say this, of course, but it was your fault for being traumatized. And the only advice that we have from our chief diversity officer on our campus in regards to ICE on campus is to call the UPD, which is a woefully insufficient response on a majority BIPOC campus, let alone any campus. I had told a previous session that we also had the word from our university administration that we weren't allowed to give information about to students about their rights in regards to ICE. And so that's why I created that Know Your Rights with ICE zine that I made from the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs document. I put it in the previous chat. I'll make sure to put it here too. I'll find it again.
But hey, thanks OC for that gifted membership. Appreciate it.
I just wanted to share that with y'all.
All right. So did everyone catch that? Did everyone catch that? It seems as though, to me, the Buffalo State University campus police are running drills with their employees to test and see if they will call the university police if someone from ICE shows up on campus or someone from law enforcement shows up on campus. And listen, if you go over to the story that I did for this on the Substack, hang on, I'm going to cough. If you go over the story I did on this on the Substack and you click on it, it is called Our SUNY Colleges in New York. training staff to subvert ICE and law enforcement. Let me put this in the chat so that you guys can find it directly if you feel like it. There you go. There you go. If you scroll down, so Julie in that video, she mentioned this document, this library freedom anti-ICE resource document, which we can find on the internet because we have the internet too, Julie, as it turns out. And so in looking at this document, this is a document that librarians use to do anti-ICE coordinating. Look at this. This is a 16-page document all about organizing with your colleagues to subvert ICE activities on campus. And again, you can find this all in the article. It tells them how to share information with each other, what they're allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do, making sure they're not giving away any data that they're not supposed to the police, training staff on how to do this stuff, solidarity building with other higher ed workers, mutual academic defense compacts. That's a thing, apparently, on the far left. You guys read this? Mutual academic defense compacts. Signatory institutions pledge to provide meaningful support to other signatories that face federal government attacks on autonomy. This whole thing, to me, seems to be an entire effing document on how to do anti-ICE organizing on college campuses for college librarians. And it kind of seems to me like we know, based on what Julie said in this here clip, that minimally SUNY Buffalo is using this document, and possibly also SUNY Buffalo is training its employees to actively subvert ICE and the police on campus. Let's just listen to that again, just to make sure we have it correct.
One thing that I'll share has less to do with scenes in hostile climates and more to do with just, being in the hostile climate that is the United States of America right now. So I put in the, I put in the notes app and in the chat earlier, this Library Freedom Project link on resource on ICE response protocols for higher education workers. This week in our library, I'm in an academic library in Western New York. We had an undercover state police officer come in and do an ICE drill, which involved interrogating the librarian and the student worker on duty about violence on our campus, violent protesting or violent students and student protesters, and asking for names. And they didn't give names, of course. And immediately after it happened, the librarian let the director know, who immediately called the UPD, University Police Department, who told us that it was a drill. And they said that they couldn't have told us in advance because what they were testing was to see who had reported it. And we have now told all of the library directors in our state system. I encouraged my director to do that. And I had put on the agenda for our faculty meeting just by chance.
So it sounds to me like that's what they're doing. It sounds to me like they're actively trying to subvert ICE. So do you guys remember from yesterday? How we played a little game yesterday? Who remembers the game from yesterday? Who remembers the game from yesterday? One in the chat if you were here yesterday and you played a little game with us, because we're going to play that game again. Are you guys ready to play the game again? Are you ready? The game is called, we are going to get a leftist librarian fired from her job. We are going to get at least one scalp in this. We may get as many as several scalps in this. Who knows how much other footage I have on this woman? Who knows how much other dirt we can find on this woman? Now we've got our eye on SUNY Buffalo, because we know that SUNY Buffalo is a massively leftist institution. And I don't care if we get people fired from there for creating commotion and getting media attention on this bullshit. They shouldn't be training their employees to subvert ICE. Now, we played this game yesterday where I gave you guys a task, because you guys are always asking me for a single task to do to fight the left. And I always say, sit down, shut up, open your ears, and listen. But that's not what I'm going to tell you today. I'm actually going to give you something I need you to do. I need everyone to log into their Twitter accounts right now. Everyone get into your damn Twitter accounts right now, because sadly, and this is not my preference, the only thing that journalists and politicians care about is fucking Twitter. And I'm going to prove that to you today. We're going to talk about another story. But since the only thing that conservative influencers and conservative politicians care about is fucking Twitter, in order to get attention on this, we have to make things go viral on Twitter. The way we do that is we all work together and we share this shit out. Okay, so I'm putting the link in the chat. Hang on. I am putting it in the chat on YouTube. I'm putting it in the chat on Rumble, and I'm going to pin it to the top in both chats. Hang on. And now, you guys are going to do 5 things for me, okay? I need you guys to do 5 things. Hang on, I'm going to go back over here. We're going to end up our game show music. There we go. We're already introduced to the game. Now we know what we're doing now. I need you guys to do 5 things for me, because these are the things that drive the algorithm. It does not matter how many followers you have, because many of you say to me, I don't have any followers. Why would I? It doesn't fucking matter. If you interact with this tweet in the way that I'm going to tell you, it will have a massive benefit overall. We have 270 people on YouTube right now. We've got how many on Rumble? We got 40. We have 300 people watching this on YouTube and Rumble actively right now. If every single one of you did what I'm telling you to do, this tweet would get probably 100,000 views, okay? Without even any problem about it. So here's what I need you to do. The first thing I need you to do is I need you to bookmark the tweet. Scroll down to the bottom of it. I'm quote tweeting something else. Scroll down to the bottom, click this thing right here, bookmark the tweet. That has a massive effect on the algorithm. Next, you want to heart the tweet. Heart it. Click the little heart. That's all you need to do. Next, I need you to click in the replies and just reply to it. You can say this is crazy. You can tag people you want to see this tweet. You can say fire this bitch. You can say whatever you want. Reply to it. Replies to posts massively drive the algorithm, okay? The next thing I need you to do is I need you to retweet the tweet. Just click this little arrow thingy here. Do it like that. And then last thing I need you to do is quote tweet it. So share it out. Have you seen this crazy story yet? And then post that. And those are the 5 things I need you to do, guys. If everyone in the chat does those 5 things, we will get many more eyes on this. We did this yesterday. We played this game yesterday with this other clip we have of Julie talking about the class she teaches where she posts or makes them create leftist propaganda. We did this yesterday. When we started this game yesterday, this post had 14,000 views, which is not too bad. 14,000 people is a lot of people, okay? But I wanted more than that. So after we played the game, guess how many views we had? Almost 64,000. 64,000. You guys got the reach on this increased by 50,000 people. That is a fuck ton, and I know people are now paying attention to this. Now, it may not be as viral as some posts, but that is a lot of fucking people to see a single post, okay? We can do the same thing with this one. And the more we do this, the more this information gets out, the more eyes we put on this, the more likely the Trump administration is to actually do something about it. The more likely it is to actually get reported on conservative media, because all conservatives care about is Twitter, and that is it, and that's all they care about. And so we have to play their game. All right. So I want to see ones in the chats. Have you guys played the game? Have you guys bookmarked the tweet? Have you guys liked the tweet? Have you guys replied to the tweet? Have you guys retweeted the tweet? Have you guys quote tweeted the tweet? I promise you, if every single person that's listening right now did all of those things, then this would go massively fuck off viral. But I need your guys' help. This is not just about me. This is about us. We have to work together. We're not a collective. We're like a voluntary association. But like we have to work together here. So again, bookmark, heart, reply. It doesn't matter what you say in the reply. Just reply. I mean, maybe don't be a dick about it or anything, but maybe say something nice. Maybe tag someone that you want to see it. Retweet the thing and quote tweet the thing. And if you quote tweet it, then I will retweet you, and that will get even more views, because we have to play this stupid game, because all conservative influencers and pundits care about is Twitter. Okay. Yeah, we are fucking the algorithm right now. We are bending the algorithm over and fucking it. We are making the algorithm bend to our will right now. The conservative media doesn't want to report this shit. Okay. All right. We will bend the algorithm over and fuck it. And I have no problem doing that. All right. Everyone done it? Okay. So hopefully this gets some more views on it, and hopefully people start paying attention, and hopefully the government maybe does something about this, because I don't know, man. I don't know. The entire SUNY University system rebelling openly against ICE and training employees to do anti-ICE shit, that seems a little bit much for me. Yo! Biotechnic in with the 20 gifted channel memberships. Holy shit, everyone's getting a membership today. Everyone's getting a membership today. Congrats to everyone who just got a gifted channel membership from Biotechnic. And now Cynthia is back with another 5 gifted channel memberships. Everyone's going to be a channel member from here on forward. It's like you guys are just handing them out like candy lately. And I really appreciate it. Congrats to every single person who got a gifted channel membership. That's awesome. Up to almost 50 new members of the channel already today. Insanity. Over 50 new members. Insanity, guys. Insanity.